This is the Hear Him Out Show, a show we created for men to be heard, where women are welcome to listen. Yo, what's good, beautiful people? This is your boy Monty, aka Mr. Motivation.
And I am Shakim, many blessings.
Yo, and this is Hear Him Out Podcast, a space for men to be heard, where women are more than welcome to listen. And what's our aim here, G?
Our aim is to speak truth, add value, and just offer a perspective that has the potential to lead to growth and elevation.
All right, what's this episode about, G?
This is Rock Bottom Remedies. So let me tell you something about Rock Bottom Remedies.
Okay.
Rock Bottom is a space that you're probably going to experience if you're a man going for anything in life, because you're going to be getting pulled this way, that way, upwards, downwards. And before you know it, you will lose control. You will experience chaos, and you will find yourself face flat on the floor. And, you know, the true truth is that there's blessings down there. There's things we can learn down there if we don't just let it kick our ass. So this is an episode to pinpoint specific things we can do when we're in that dark place, when we're in that depression, when we're in that cave, because I know that a lot of women may not understand that space for us, and maybe we don't want to open up that space to women. Maybe this is for us to figure out sometimes. So Rock Bottom Remedies, eh?
All right. So before my man gets into the remedies, I think rock bottom means something different to everybody. So for me,
what was I know your story, bro. And
I've been in rock bottom so often, y'all. I'm strangely comfortable with it. But one thing in particular that I remember, rock bottom to me was when I first moved to LA. I've been in LA for 12 years, you know, pursuing a career in acting. I'm happy to say I'm doing big things now, but things weren't always that way. Things weren't always that way. But I had no car. I was living in a men's homeless shelter. I was staying in a room in this house in, I think it's Sun Valley up in Sherman Way, right? And it was me and 7 other nasty, funky ass dudes in a room. Now, I grew up in poverty, so that was triggering in itself. I'm a college graduate with 2 college degrees. I'm an intelligent, decent looking guy. Why the hell am I going through this? And I remember that day I took the bus and a lady had her cute little girl playing with this nasty little doll, and her son was in a wheelchair, and she asked me for a couple of bucks. I grew up asking for money and stuff, so I'm always eager to give, but I only had a 20. And I couldn't give her that because that's all I had. I think it was a Wednesday. That's all I had until I got paid for my catering or security job at the time on Saturday. And I remember getting off feeling like shit, y'all. I was like, yo, I've been in LA for going on 2 years now. I'm still not getting no auditions. I'm staying in a damn men's homeless shelter, for God's sake. I get off in North Hollywood. There's this coffee bean, and I put my hoodie over my head and I cry. I'm so damn frustrated. I cannot believe, like, yo, I came here for a dream. That shit ain't happening. I can't even help this lady out with some money. And she needs it clearly more than me. She has 2 kids. Her son's in a wheelchair, daughter, the happiest girl. I'm just like, yo. And that was rock bottom. And that was like one of the moments where I was just like, I got to do something. I got to change. And I wish I had some of these remedies we about to go through right now. So let's jump into it. Rock bottom remedies. What we starting with, G?
Well, let's start with this concept called shadow work, man, because I've been where you were before as well. I wasn't necessarily in the shelter, but I was in a car, and I had a lot of time to think, if I guess we can say that, right?
Too much.
And and I guess one of the main things that you find when you are finally trying to manage your mind, which is the main thing I would like to get across in the concept of shadow work, is we have to learn how to manage our minds.
I love that.
When you start to dive into your mind, you start realizing that you haven't really been in control like you think, because there are subconscious subtleties that are trying to take control over how you respond and react to things. So that's our subconscious. There's a really dope dude named Carl Jung. You look up this dude named Carl Jung. He had come up with this idea that there are things our subconscious mind it's influencing us to do, and we don't realize it. When we're at rock bottom, doing some shadow work would help a lot. So one of the things that I did, there's a lot of forms of shadow work you could do. One of the main things that pissed me off about studying shadow work is that all these podcasts and all these videos were talking about the term, but no one was telling you how to do it. Facts. So we're going to give you one of the things you can do. And then hopefully there will be more episodes down the line where we give you more rock bottom remedies. So one of the forms of shadow work I like is going back to your first memory. Going back to your first memory, because your subconscious is composed of a lot of things that go way back to your childhood. So one of the things I did was I asked myself, what was my first memory? And my first memory was just super random, but it was performing in front of a camera like this. We're not performing now, luckily, because of this revolution that I had within myself.
Right.
I was if you don't know me, I sing. I'm a songwriter with my brother, Jake and Papa. We do a lot of R&B soul music. That's my blood brother, so we grew up singing together. So I'm going back to my first memory, and it was performing in front of a camera, but it wasn't as simple as that. It's me pumping and adrenaline and singing, and I'm scared that I may do it wrong because there's this figure behind the camera who is my dad, and he gets mad when I do it wrong.
Oh, no, you was in the Jackson 5.
It's kind of, man. My dad was hell-bent on having the next Jackson 5, so he had us rehearsing at 3 and 4 or 5 years old. My first memory, I'm telling y'all, is literally performing and studying the playback. And if we got it wrong, we got in trouble, and we got to go back, do it again. So I'm performing in front of the mic, sweating and looking at my brother, making sure I'm doing it right. Is that the right move? Okay, oh man, I got to do it right because this guy might get mad if I do it wrong. Boom, boom. And I said, okay, so I came up with this conclusion. And then I say, so what's your first memory and how did it make you feel? My first memory, how it made me feel was that if I don't perform it right, then someone will be mad at me. If I don't perform it right, I won't be accepted. If I don't perform it right, things will go wrong. It's a really simple idea. That when I said that out loud, not just like say it in my head. When I said it out loud, oh shit, I perform so that I am accepted. I realized how subtly
Hold up,
that
pause. Hear him out. You perform. Why? No, you got to say it. Don't breeze over this.
Yeah.
Well, man, he likes to take shit real deep, and it's not profound to him because this is just how he is. But for simple-minded motherfuckers like me,
yeah, bro,
it's very profound. So you perform for what,
bro? In relationships, in school, on my basketball team. My coach said at one point, he said, "I like Jacob because if I tell him to run through that brick wall, he'll run through that brick wall for me." And I was saying, yep, I sure will. Yep. And it's like a badge of honor I used to wear, that in order to be accepted, I will do whatever has to happen on this stage.
Perform to be accepted.
I will perform to be accepted. And it was the most disgusting quality. When I said it out loud, I literally felt like fucking throwing up because I realized it was taken away from my natural beingness. So I said, how much in my life have I been unnaturally just performing to be accepted? And when I said, damn, in my last relationship, in my relationship with my father, in my school. So I went through all these things. I said, dang, okay, so then what has to happen for me to eradicate that? So here's your shadow work idea. Go to your first memory.
Okay.
Ask yourself how it makes you feel. If you don't like how it makes you feel, then you have to ask yourself how it can be eradicated. Because if you don't like how it makes you feel, I guarantee you it's showing up in multiple places of your life. That's causing you turbulence and a tumultuous nucleus.
And that's the episode. That's all y'all need. Bro, that's a lot to unpack. No, I love the fact that you said that perform to be accepted. Like, we don't go over this, by the way. This ain't no pre-shit. We literally have some ideas and we just go with it. So, like, I'm getting hit with some profound stuff and it's making me feel away. Perform to be accepted. And just thinking about you hit it right when it comes to shadow work, because when I go live on TikTok and Instagram, people always ask me about shadow work, and I'm quick to defer. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I have a basic understanding, but you're right. Nobody actually has it. This is literally with my guy. This is the first time somebody's given actionable steps. You hear shit like shadow work, and people just throw stuff out there. No, this is real. When I go back, I can't go back to my first memory yet because I don't want to go to the first thing that pops in my head. I really want to do this exercise myself, but hitting on what you said about performing to be accepted, like, yo, real talk, how many of us do that in everyday life? Some people disguise it, you call it people pleasing, right? But the fact that you said perform to be accepted, when you think about performance, man, like, rarely, at least in my case, is that the true essence of you. You're performing. You know what I'm saying? 100%. And as an actor, I'm still working on getting rid of that. I don't want to perform. I want to live the life. And when I watch my performances and I see I'm living a life, I'm like, good. I'm like, oh man, you said those words really well. You did exactly what you practiced. You performed. So in everyday life, y'all, when you think about this shadow work, I think that is a dope ass exercise. And add on to that, if I may,
please.
Is where are you performing in your life?
Yes.
What, like, literally, where are you performing in your life?
And
like,
be real with yourself.
And 100%. And be like, yo, is this really me? Is it at work? Is it in my relationship?
Yes.
Is it for my family? That's some profound shit. So that's the first bit of shadow work.
That's the first bit of shadow work.
Yo, I love that. Now, okay, let's jump on the next thing. Yo, y'all just got all the value you need. That shit is dope, family.
And we'll have more for you soon. Yeah.
Now we talked about something earlier you were going to hit on, stretching and expanding. Like dive into that a bit.
Oh, Shay. So stretching and expanding. So I was taught that there's this idea that can fortify divine masculinity, and it's stretching. I say, what is stretching? They say planting your feet in the mother. So getting grounded, get super grounded in the mother, and then allowing your consciousness to be stretched up to the cosmic father. But doing it nice and slowly so that you will be fortified. Anything that's stretched too fast will break. So the idea of slowly but surely expanding yourself while still remaining grounded. So what's something you could do? You could train. You could train out in the open. Like, not everything.
So when you say in the mother, you mean Mother Earth, right?
Yeah, Mother Earth.
Hey, I'm telling my brother's deep.
Yeah.
That's why we doing this shit. All right, I'm very literal. All right, my man is deep. So I got to make sure I understand.
Yeah, because I mean, yo, it's so simple. I'd been training for years. I grew up an athlete. I know we both grew up athletes, right? My life really started changing when I started training outside, just in the sun, barefoot, And so there's something very, very beautiful. We can go into the scientific reasons, but for now, just trust us. If you just go outside for a few minutes a day and just put your bare feet in the grass, just ground yourself. There's things the grass will teach you that nobody can teach you. And then maybe take a book with you. There were a couple times where I would go out to the park, I'd take a book, and when I was reading Tantra by Osho at the time, I say whenever Osho says something super dope and I need to meditate on it, I'll put the book down and just do some movement in the land, whether it's dance, whether it's yoga. Hey, and guess what? People are gonna look at you like you're fucking crazy. It's like whatever, dog.
Once again, who cares? You're not performing to be accepted.
We're not performing no more.
And now hold on real quick. Hear him out on this.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be some cats, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is a podcast for men to be heard and for women to listen. So some of the dudes out there, hear me out on this, fellas. None of the stuff we're saying is an end all be all. We got to stop being so literal. So my guy is not saying, and please correct me if I'm wrong, he's not saying going out there and planting your feet on the ground and, reading Tantra books, you freak.
Yeah.
He ain't saying that's going to solve all your damn problems.
Yes.
But I know so I live in Miracle Mile, and there's these parks, the tar pits and all that stuff, right? And I get a bit of the peace I see when I see somebody on the grass, they got the sun and they're reading.
Yes.
They look so at peace.
Yeah.
And we got an episode we're going to talk about peace. Yeah. And it's the simple shit, y'all, that we overlook.
Yes.
That can help us out so much when you got these rock bottom remedies. Like if you at rock bottom, fellas, you ain't got shit to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Go plant your feet outside.
Yes.
Sit in stillness. Read a book. Read a book.
Read a book. Because the book isn't going to be the answer and the grass isn't going to be the answer, like my brother just said. It's going to open space for you to find the answer. It's going to give you the peace of mind to be able to find the answer, because the truth is your room probably feels cluttered right now, and you don't want to do it at your girl's house because it's like you're supposed to be serving God through her at that time. So at what point do you get to service yourself? So make a church for yourself. How about we say that? We'll make a church for yourself. If you could create the perfect church, what would it be? And go for it. I made my church. In my church, the books and the yoga and the movement, all that did was open up space for me to be able to go inward, turn the light inward, and find certain answers. So that to me is where your consciousness starts getting stretched to the Father, because we start at the mother and we stretch up, and it's painful. Why is it painful? Because along the way, you may find out that you were performing in your last relationship. You weren't really being yourself, and it's going to hurt. Just like when you try to touch your toes and your hamstrings are singing to the heavens. It's the same idea. It's going to hurt.
I feel triggered right now.
When I tell you, bro,
I'm so
there were a couple times in my shadow work where the realization of what I had done or who I was and how I put on, it brought me to my knees, and I was like disgusted with myself.
Bro, just on this, I know this might be extra. I don't even know if we're going to keep this, but it's so funny. I did shadow work. I remember I used to suffer from imposter syndrome, and I had a lot of confidence issues because I suffered a lot of abuse in foster care. And I always said, it's like, you got to believe in your own skills and your abilities. So I was a mad gifted hooper. I was dunking since 7th grade, right?
Dude, dang, you was one of those.
Oh yeah, I was one of those, baby.
I'm over here slapping the backboard.
and I remember we had a tournament in Utah, and it was in college. I've always had issues with my confidence. And one moment I look like LeBron, next thing you know, I look like Kwame Brown, right? It's just facts, yo. It's facts, right? And I just remember it was after one day, man, up in Utah, I was just like, my coach was like, "You so inconsistent." He's like, "I thought more." He just said something. It wasn't no shade. It was just truth. I remember going around to the back of the hotel. We was somewhere in Utah, and I just remember crying my ass off. I was so frustrated with myself, and I had to accept. I think this was my first like introduction to shadow work. I don't even realize it was it. It was the first time I had to accept, because before, my coach hates me. I was blaming everybody else. I was like, "Yo, you don't believe in yourself." My foster mother is in my ear and my subconscious. It's right there. And every time I get a little bit of doubt enters, I freeze. And I just remember sitting there crying, and it was the first time I cried with a purpose. And I was like, "Yo, I'm letting this shit out." And I remember the rest of the tournament, I was solid. And I just remember doing that work like, "Yo, you don't believe in yourself. What's all those works, all those shots, waking up early and stuff?" And so when you talk about it, does hurt. That's stretching, like, yo, to acknowledge, fellas, yo, hit me out. To acknowledge you're not him.
That hurts.
To acknowledge you're not that dude. And I mean that, ego aside, face to face with yourself, that shit hurts. But that's where the growth take place.
Absolutely. Because in that process of maybe considering you're not that nigga right now, you'll say, okay, why am I not that nigga right now? How am I not showing up? You may find a chink in the armor that you can now sharpen, and you will show up a better version of yourself, just like you showed up to the tournament a different player.
It's the
self-observation. I think that's a form of regulation, bro.
And not running from that. You know? And with that, let's go with the segment. All right. So so what we like to do here, we like to break things up. We got different segments. All right. So the segment today, we got a men's mental health tip. Yes, mental health is a thing. It's a buzzword. A lot of people don't understand what it means, all that stuff. We're gonna get into that in another episode. But this one's aimed at men. Men's mental health tip. And you're not a man, you can vibe with this, but this is for us fellas. Stress stretches. Hear me out. Perspective is a cheat code for life. Let's start there. It's not what happens to you. You already know. It's what you do about it, right? It's how you perceive it. I believe stress stretches. Everything you're going through is stressing your body. So this is my trainer. This is how we linked up first. This dude, you talked about horse stance and all this different. He be showing me workouts, like just going through stuff like it's mad easy because he's been doing it his whole life, right? And for me, this shit is hard. And I feel so much stress on my muscles, so much stress on my tendons and stuff. And it stretches me. Now, as an actor, I'm able to incorporate some of the skills you showed me. So when Marvel comes to knock and holler at your boy, win, you know what I mean? When that happens, I'm like, I'm going to be prepared. I got supplementary skills. Stress stretches. Everything you're going through in your life right now, fellas, is meant to stretch you. If you do not find time to decompress, to relax, to allow vulnerability to come in, just like a rubber band that stretches too much, your ass will break.
Your pop.
Stress stretches just like a rubber band. If you keep the rubber band where it's at, it only holds so much capacity. The more you stretch it, the more it can hold, the more it can keep together. We keep our families together. We keep our friends together. We are rubber bands. Stress stretches. You are going through what you're going through so you can be stretched. It seems like stress, and yes, it is. But understand, it's to make you better. The shit you're stressing over now, 5, 6, 10 years from now, it's going to be light work. If you see it and view it that way. There is a lesson. There is strength to be built. The man you're supposed to become, you're not him yet. Yet. The stress you're experiencing is stretching you so that you have a greater capacity to keep shit together. And that is the men's mental health tip. And yo, that's, I think that's a good way to end the episode, man.
Marvelous.
Rock bottom remedies, but there's a lot more.
More to come.
You know what? We're gonna have to break this up. We're gonna say this is rock bottom remedies part one. Because we could talk about this forever, but just real quick, I gotta reiterate on the shadow work, the performing to be accepted, and the whole, go back on this, y'all. Go back, rewind, listen to what my man is saying about going back to your first memory. And asking how you feel about it. Like, how did it make you feel? That's a powerful activity, y'all.
Yes.
And that's part of shadow work. Everybody talk about shadow work. This is something actionable that you can use.
Man, I was just about to say, there's a divine masculine quality of action.
Yes.
So we can contemplate all day. You can come up with the first memory, how it made you feel, how it applies to your life on a daily basis. But the true divine masculine aspect comes into play when you do something about it.
And thank y'all for vibing with us. This is some stuff. Like I said, this is a space for men to be heard where women are more than welcome to listen, because we need that space, fellas. And what's our aim here, G?
Well, we hope we spoke some truth. We hope we added some value. And our goal is always to just offer a perspective, man. We just want to offer a perspective that can offer some type of potential to lead to growth and elevation.
And that's it for the episode. We love y'all. Yes, it's okay, fellas, to tell your mans them you love them. It don't make you weird or gay. We love you, bruh.
It's actually super dope. Love is dope, bro.
Love is dope. All right, we love y'all. Until next time. Peace, man.
Peace.